stuff.
All right. Let's get this show on the road. Welcome, everyone, to episode 15 of the StarCraft 2 Week with Lion Live. I'm your host, Ace, and today I'm joined by my good friends, Brock and Sax. I set this up because I always enjoy open and honest conversations about balance, but I feel it's a little hard to find in the community sometimes. Hoping to do my small part to change that with this show, so if you enjoy, please consider giving a like or subscribe. And this week we're going to be talking about the hotfix part 2 Electric Boogaloo. We're gonna
Electric Boogaloo.
We're gonna look at all of the exciting changes that we had here to this wonderful game of StarCraft that we love so much. All right, so I did not really prepare questions this time because this is kind of a lot to talk about here, and we're gonna get in the weeds here, I can tell. And the actual change list is not that long, so I'm just like really quickly gonna blast through these, and then we can just discuss. So, Colossus, or Protoss first of all, then the Colossus damage a little bit more specialized, generic damage rather than just light. The Adept damage was increased by 1 and 1 versus light for each upgrade. The Gateway Super Gate buff was modified from 40 to 50%. And again, this is comparing to like the original Gateway train time. This is not compared to like warp in time, because that would be crazy. The transformation on the Gateway Warp Gate was like shortened a little bit, so it's always 4 seconds, which is a little bit shorter than either of them were before, but it's also consistent, which is kind of cool. And then the Disruptor, like Phantom Fake Attack, was reduced in range because it was like a little bit too long before.
That's a really interesting one for me.
Yeah,
I was not tracking that it ever had that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Like, oh, okay, I didn't even know they did that.
I'm super observant.
Make it so the unit doesn't A move into enemy army.
Yeah, I get the premise of it. Oh, of course,
that's all the ground spellcasters. Like Infestor has this now.
Right.
High Templar.
I don't know why the Zerg and Terran unit need it. I think just Protoss units need
just
it.
Protoss.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna get through the Terran changes really quick, and then we can dive in. So the command center. This is the big one that we're probably going to talk forever about. Cost was reduced from 400 to 300. What in the actual fuck? Then Planetary Fortress was given the 100 minerals on the other end of that, which makes no sense, but okay.
Well, you know.
And we'll get into it. So then the Ghost Supply was reduced from 3 to 2 again. Back and forth.
Yeah, because if you flip it back and forth enough times, it'll eventually land in the right spot.
There you go. We didn't
make
it 2.5 supply. Like, why would you do that?
Can't move until you get the other ghost, and then they can actually move.
Oh, that'd be funny. Or what if they had like half stats? Like half the health, half the attack rate.
Yeah. They have to hold hands in order to get their full strength.
Okay. You get 2 ghosts at a time, but they cost 5 supply.
There you go. Oh man. Okay. So we can. We'll just go through this sequentially, I guess. Because when we get to the Terran, we're gonna have a lot to talk about, and I feel like we should probably talk about these before we talk about Terran. So, what do we think about...
That's true.
Let's just start with the Colossus. What do we think about that change? How about Brock?
I do think it is necessary. Like, as much as you need Colossus in PvT, they kind of just suck.
Really?
It's the reality of it. They're... Like, stats-wise, they are a tanky, beefy unit, but they don't actually do like a whole lot of damage if it's not versus Marines. And Terran ends up not being super Marine heavy anyways, because as soon as Storm comes out, they get Colossus. They want to transition into more Marauders anyways. So it kind of just... It needed something.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
gonna necessarily say if that was like enough or so, because I like the idea of it trying to be better at like light units instead of just generic splash, because it kind of was stupid. Okay, it was stupid in Wings of Liberty. It wasn't nearly as stupid in Heart of the Swarm, but it was definitely very strong. So,
Okay.
because it just overall, like, I think in Wings of Liberty, because of the two attacks, it like one shot Marines or something insane like that. Correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong on that, but
at
I
the time.
feel like that was the case. Like each thing did like 25 damage each. And you're like, oh, okay. But Colossus also attacks slower. It got attack buff at some point during Legacy of the Void. So there's that.
Yeah, right. I remember that now.
But my point being, like, I feel like it really did need some sort of a buff. Like, you can't give it more range. You don't really want to make it more tanky. I do think making the damage more balanced is good. Because it also might make it useful in ZV in PvZ a bit. No, probably not. But I mean, I guess
Oh.
you'd see some PvP play versus like high zealot counts. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do think it was a good buff. Yes.
Okay. So I'll ask Sax. What are your thoughts first on this?
I'm fine with it. I think the counter to Colossus is pretty straightforward. You make enough Vikings, you kill them, and then, you have Vikings left over. You drop them. You fight the rest of the fight, whatever.
Okay.
Like it does tend to, fights do tend to trickle down pretty fast with. If you have the proper Viking count, you kill the Colossus off, they're not a problem. So it really doesn't matter how much damage the Colossus do to other units. You're never really going to see high-level play as a mech player against Protoss. So they're just going to be playing bio. So like the fact that the Colossus do more damage to not Marines or not light units, I don't see that impacting that engagement at all. So that's my limited scope. I'm not upset about that change.
Interesting. That's super interesting because like I totally get the impression that the Colossus is like already good enough versus non-light units in my experience. Like when I off race occasionally Terran, and whenever
I
I
agree.
watch TVP, it just feels like as soon as the Colossus comes out, it's like bio you can't go bio anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's obviously not that extreme, but like it kind of feels that way. Like I can't tell
like,
you how many times I'm like
can't,
trying to kill it and I just lose everything.
You can't go mech. You also can't go mech. Like it's
yeah.
As a mech player, I know you can't go mech against Protoss. It's not an option. And so like the fact that Colossus would be better against mech doesn't calculate in that scenario because you're already losing that fight. Like it's just you're gonna lose it faster now with Colossus or in a different way. Okay, cool. You know.
I mean, Colossus only help against like Hellbats and I guess mines.
So like, I'm not worried about it being stronger against non-light stuff. Like all of Protoss mech units are gonna die to Zealots, Tempests, Void Rays, Immortals. Like Stalkers have their place against mech. Like I've lost plenty of fights with siege tanks against Stalkers. Like it's not impossible. The trade is just it's an economic attrition type thing. Like it's not necessarily like one fight the Stalkers are gonna win, but the next fight, or maybe 2 or 3 fights down the road,
It's I have more money than you. I just keep throwing it at you until you break.
And I'm not building those siege tanks nearly as fast as you're making those Stalkers. And also the other stuff that you can make and jump around your tech tree so quickly,
Gotcha.
Yeah, mech has other problems versus Protoss, and that's a different discussion. But no, this is definitely a versus bio adjustment.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it because like most bio are considered light, right? Terran units. Most Terran bio units.
Well, it's Marine. The Marauder's armored. I mean, I guess the Widow Mine is light.
Well, the Ghost is now light, right?
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that one. Well, because they kept that.
That's kind of significant.
Okay, that's a, well. So the damage versus that. I mean, I guess it is like, it still is noticeable more damage, but yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I
it'll
mean,
be harder to
it's not the
play
biggest
Marauders
change.
against Colossus, but like you're not. That was never in my mind. Like, oh, the counter to Colossus is more Marauders. You know, I've definitely has happened across it on accident sometimes, but usually if I'm seeing Colossus, I'm going Vikings. You know.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I think like overall, it's not really the biggest change. You know what I mean?
No.
I just sort of felt like it's a little bit like why? Because I don't know. Like I said, like my impression is they feel like they're kind of already good enough versus
Yeah.
units that aren't light. But I'm not like complaining super hard about this. I don't really care that much.
I
Yeah,
think
I
they're
think
trying to just make so that the Colossus is viable in more situations.
Right.
Mhm.
Now it's like if you're not playing against Bio, it's almost like why make a Colossus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would almost rather go back to like the slower attack speed one and just buff the damage, because that
Mm.
was kind of like more fun to play against in my experience. I felt the same way about the Stalker. Like, I generally just like it more when units are like less A-movie and more like microable in general, I feel like.
Mhm. That's
I don't know.
said no Protoss player ever.
Actually,
My bad. I'm
It's all good.
alienate a complete section of your audience.
I mean, I talk no shit about Protoss already. Oh, man.
It's usually pretty justified. I'll admit that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to go into all of that right now, but a lot of people, I think, know the history. Anyway, speaking of history, the adept change brings some historical flashbacks back into my mind here. The adept doing more damage when it gets more upgrades. Like that.
I actually
super weird.
completely agree with this one because the Adept is such a classic unit that's good for the first 2 minutes and you never see it again.
Mhm.
Like, maybe this
Okay.
isn't the change that makes it a topic of conversation for later games, later part of the game, but I think it addresses kind of an issue with the unit that is there where, like, there needs to be a way to bring this unit into different stages of the game.
Yeah, because they're kind of like, I mean, like I know the Stalker is really the Protoss Roach, but like
Mhm.
it feels like Adepts are the Protoss Roach, but they fall off like even faster than the Roach.
Like
You
the
know what I mean?
Reaper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're more
kinda like
comparable,
the
I'd say,
Reaper.
to a Reaper. Yeah.
A Reaper's I don't know, like a little bit. I mean, Reaper is just like totally an early game unit. You know what I mean?
You make a few, you want to see what's going on in the first few minutes, and then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
never touch that unit again.
I mean, that's basically the Adept. It just has a glaive that lets you do like a committed timing or all in with it.
Yeah.
Which
But
is
beyond
like
that,
kind of
it's
similar
like,
to like 2 or 3 Rex Reaper, but not really the same.
it's just later in the game. But yeah, it's comparable.
Anyway, how do we feel about Gateway unit train time? The 40 to 50% buff. Now the fast gates are a little bit faster. How do we feel about that?
It was entertaining to watch this game between Hero and Clem, where Hero just made nothing but charge lots for 15 minutes. That it was really fun to watch a pro game just trolling.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, this is literally what I did. Like, I'm just sitting there making charge lots, and this poor Terran player
That's how I
holding
play
on for dear
Protoss,
life.
It is. I've seen him do it.
too.
So I mean, I feel like the funny thing about the units building faster, like that. I mean, yeah, I think the numbers are like 14 seconds or something crazy for like a zealot. But I mean, at the end of the day, the funny thing that I don't think a lot of people really think about or consider is you still, assuming you have the amount of production for the amount of income you have, your income still determines how many units you can build per minute. So it's like if the units build faster, that more or less just means you need less production structures.
Yeah.
Which I mean, yes, is 150 minerals or 175, 25. So like that's like almost like arguably a stalker.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so instead of being 3 base, 12 gates, I'm now 3 base, 8 gates. Like, okay, that's 6 extra zealots once.
For some
What?
reason, this kind of brings up in my memory what Winter said about it, because he's so mad about this patch. He's like, "Why don't we just lower the cost of the gateway by 100 too, huh?" It was almost unironic, and I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting."
Yeah. I mean, it very much feels like, I don't know. Like the more I look at this, it's like it kind of feels like you, like Relin says, you kind of can't halfway do this. Like, because it feels like we're trying to get people to like not use warp gate all the time and use gateways instead. But
Mhm.
like, the problem is nobody's gonna do that unless it's equal strength or better, right? So what are we
Yeah,
doing
you,
here?
you're stuck on a
Yeah, I
path
think
where you're just buffing it to infinity, trying to force
Yeah.
a meta. Yeah.
It's like if
yeah,
warp gate is too strong and it's really hard to balance because it's too strong, then we kind of need to just like bite the bullet and like get rid of it, Like
Mhm.
I don't know. It's like I mean either we get rid of it or we make it expensive and like just don't listen to Protosses when they're like the fast gates aren't good enough. But it sucks to say that, but like it feels like that's really the only option here. Because like the way I'm looking at this, if we make it so that the fast gates are so fast that you can, like we've been saying, just do the same push but with less gateways, and then the disadvantage is that now you're like reinforcing from home and you're parade pushing rather than warping in on location at the push, right?
Mhm.
That's supposed to be the downside. But the problem I have with that is gateways aren't that expensive. And if you've already built your massive army off of like the fast gates, right? And then you move out, and like as you're moving out, you just drop a couple extra gateways and then transform them all into gateways. Now suddenly you have the same push that you had before, but you had to spend less on the production. So you have more units and they build faster, right? And then you're
Mhm.
still warping in with your push. Because you can just drop a pylon, like bring a probe with you, drop a pylon, and then transform your gateways at home. And suddenly you're doing the same thing you were before, but it's even better. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. It's
I think that's the road we're heading on right now, and I don't see how we're avoiding that as the outcome. Because it feels
right.
like
Yeah.
Protosses are
You're
just
like,
demanding that.
I see the rabbit trail you're on, and I see what you're saying now. Like the the premise of the change is because warp gate's really strong, and we want to like try to get people to use the gateway more. But in tandem with that change to make Protoss feel better, you're like, we're gonna make warp gate stronger once you get it, and for and it's down the road. But it wasn't the problem was the warp gate down the road was too strong, but now you've made it stronger. Is that's what I'm taking from that.
Yeah.
Like,
'Cause
so, but
it feels
I
like
also,
it just allows you to do like that gateway explosion in two parts, and then you can just
mhm,
do an even better version of what you were doing
when you finally
before.
land, yeah,
Yeah.
when you land in that mid game, yeah. So the thing I think I worry about is if you got rid of warp gate altogether, you just have Terran, but it looks like Protoss units, like.
Yeah. And that's also my problem with it. Yeah. Like even though like I should be fine with it. I talked about this before. It's like Brood War, that's how Protoss worked. There was no warp
Yeah.
gate in Brood War. They produced out of gateways just like they were barracks. But like
Hmm.
when we got StarCraft 2, we had warp gate. And that just immediately feels like a very Protoss thing to have. And it's super fucking cool. And I don't want
Yeah.
to get rid of it. Like it's super cool and like it feels very Protoss. It's just the problem is it's too strong.
I
I don't know.
I think I would like to see the warp prism uh, something happened with it. Somebody smarter than me come up with an idea that would allow you to not do so much with
I
the
had
warp
a
prism.
thought. Would warp gate still be busted if the warp prism couldn't warp in units?
Yeah, I really want to say that's where
Wait,
I'd like
what?
to see it, but I feel like that's
Like
just
if
my
the warping couldn't transform and be a pylon to warping
Yeah.
units, like you had to warp in
Like,
at
if it
a
was just a
pylon.
dropship?
Yeah.
yeah.
Would that
I mean,
make warp
that
gate
would
much
be
less busted?
really shitty.
Or
Like,
what if
But like,
there's
would
a
that
limit?
potentially balance warp gate?
I mean, yes,
'Cause I feel like
because
that's
then the
half the
only way
concern.
you could do offensive warp ins would be with a pylon, which is like
Yeah.
Yeah,
way weaker
Crimea
than
River.
with a prism.
Yeah, you have to
Obviously.
bring a probe. That's very sad.
But
I mean-
but like you're talking about how warp gate's clearly just kind of busted, and it's like, well, I mean, would that be
Well-
the easiest potential fix?
I don't know. It's like, I think warp gate is like by itself. I don't think it's a busted mechanic. I think it becomes busted when you. I mean, I think two things. When you start buffing gateway units, like warp gate doesn't exist because Protoss players are like, we want gateway man style to be viable. Like, that's when you get the first problem with warp gate. And then I think the second problem is, fuck, I'm losing my train of thought. It's like, shield battery. Yeah, when you have shield battery. Like, warping in defensively is like already a difficult mechanic to balance, but then when you add shield batteries to it, it's like, oh, that's crazy. You know, because then it just turns like 1 or 2 supply of a unit into like 10 supply unit. You know what I mean? Like, it turns a zealot
It's
into an
tough.
ultra.
Yeah. And what I struggle with in my own mind is like, I want to sit here and say shield battery is so strong as a Terran player, and I'm like, but I have shield batteries that fly around and heal my units wherever I need them. You know?
Very true. But your shield
Yeah, it's-
batteries cost gas and they come out of a starport, and they cost
Yeah.
supply. I think that's
Yeah,
another
there's-
Yes,
big
but
difference.
mine
And they're
are
not like
immobile,
stationary
so-
buildings. You know?
Yeah. So it's a hard ask. It's a hard ask to be like, no, shield battery's too strong, but
I mean,
maybe
I kind of want just back to some A said. What do you mean buff Protoss units like warp gate doesn't exist? There hasn't been a recent buff to Protoss unit, the gateway units that cause
Right.
the gateway man style. It kind of just realized that if I get economically ahead, I can just flood you with these basic units.
Yeah, so like, I
Or
mean,
am I missing something?
how do I explain this? So it's kind of like, you know, I mean, you've heard me and, you know, Miro and a bunch of other people's, like Reland, complain that gateway units are already strong enough. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah,
so this is
but there
kind of
wasn't,
what.
like a buff or anything, right?
Yeah. So I wasn't really saying that like they have been getting buffed a whole bunch. Like, I think really the Stalker is the only one that has gotten that treatment. And even then it was kind of a redesign, but like, I don't know. I mean, the old Stalker was just way shittier. If we
Do you mean
compare
when
it
they
to the
made
current
it
Stalker.
more damage but slower attack rate?
I don't even remember, honestly. Like, I just remember it was way weaker. It felt like paper
'Cause
mache.
I think that was the because they haven't changed like the health or armor or anything. The only real change that I can think of is they
Let me
made
look
it
it up.
do more damage but attack slower in a way where it had the same DPS. Because they wanted the unit to be able to be more of like a sniper and such and take care of.
Yeah. So
big units
they,
that way.
let's see, what did we do? We,
I guess unless like blink cost changed, but I think
yeah.
that was a while
So
ago.
2017, we made it get +2 damage per level of ground weapon upgrades. We lowered its weapon speed overall
Yeah,
from like 1 to 1.54, so it's like way slower to shoot. But then we increased the damage. So if I remember right, it was like, I forget the calculation on this, I'm too lazy to do it now, but I think it was like roughly equal DPS, but because of this change, it makes it more microable, which is a
Yeah, it
change I
makes it have more
like, to be
burst
clear. I
damage,
said this
yeah.
earlier. Right.
Because that's it.
But
And that was
then-
2017.
Yeah, yeah. But then, this is the part I didn't like. In 2018, we reduced it a little bit, and then reduced the attack a little bit more. So we, like, made it more of an A-move unit again.
Oh,
And
because it went
then-
from like, because it used to like 3-shot Marines, and that was an issue. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Right. So I can see, like, the logic behind this. Yeah. I just don't like where we ended up with this. Because the Stalker is just, like, a better unit now, and it's more A-movie than it was before, I feel like. I don't
But
know.
again, that was like 2018. That wasn't anything recent.
No, yeah. Really, my point with talking about gateway units is, like, we want buff to gateway units. You know, like, people are asking for buffs to gateway units all the time. Like, we're talking about buffing adepts right now. You know, like, we're buffing adepts right now. You know what I mean?
Very
Things like
weird one,
that.
but yeah.
Or, like, there's been talk about, like, partially reverting some of the charge damage nerf so that they get a little bit of damage from charge again. Like, things like
would
that.
be surprising.
Yeah. Like, that just kind of, you know, it's like I understand why people want that, but it's like you can't have that and warp gate at the same time. It just doesn't work, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said in a Discord comment within the last couple of days, like, yeah, they're trying to force you to not use Warpgate without forcing you to not use Warpgate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which feels
Very
like just a
interesting
really weird
approach.
way to do it.
I mean, yes, for sure.
Yeah, I really wish that they would, I don't know, like, find a different way to do this or something, because, like, yeah, this increasing the production speed thing is, I feel like, not a good idea. Anyway.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, and it's hard for me to see past my Terran lenses, but it's just why. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not well
Articulating.
yeah, like, why, as far as experience in the industry, you know, like, I'm not the one that could really say whether or not it's a good idea, but it's just my, like, opinion. Like, I don't see increasing unit production speed for Protoss making any sense when it was never their foundation. It was never their premise that they were the race that could make a bunch of stuff really fast.
Right.
You know, like, it's always supposed to be, you got, like, the middle lane with the Terran. You got pretty fast production, kind of solid economy. Your units are high DPS, but kind of glass cannons. Then you got the Zerg. It's very swarmy. All their units are trash. There's not a single good Zerg unit. But if you make enough of them and you keep going, you'll be fine. You know.
Right.
And then you got Protoss. And you got
gotta
Protoss.
have
It's
more
like,
stuff.
okay, yeah, you know, your economy is incredible, and your units are super strong and, like, almost individually strong, but they're hard to get there because it's expensive. You know, and you start messing with those core fundamentals of what makes the race its identity. You're starting to really wash away that identity.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, like, Protoss has always been the high-tech race. You know, it's kind of the theme of the race, like, in lore as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, it just doesn't
And
really
then you-
make sense to have them be, like, the low-tech, swarmy race when you play them
Yeah.
in multiplayer. You know, like, it's
Uh-huh.
a little bit
Then you
strange.
don't take away any of the tech. You keep the units strong, but now they go faster, and, you know, they build faster. Let's make them
Yeah.
cheaper while we're at it. You know,
You're
let's
right.
put a reactor on the gateway so they can make 2 stalkers at a time.
Yeah.
You know, Like-
Or better yet, why don't we just, like, invent a new unit, have it be, like, a mineral only unit, and it'll walk
Uh-huh.
around to all of your gateways and hit them with, like, this
Uh-huh.
charge ability that lasts about 30 seconds, and then it
Uh-huh.
increases your production by, like, 50%.
Wait, are you describing larva engines? Like,
No, what?
Oh, okay. All right, I'll
Me?
see that.
No.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like, these changes are very interesting that way. They're grasping at straws almost. You know, it's like they don't even know what they want.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
this
that seems to be the
idea.
tough part.
Yeah, like this idea, like on paper, I think might have looked okay to like increase gateway warp in time or build time when you have warp gate. Yeah, I think like in practice we're just finding like it doesn't feel good. You know, like I mean, it, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. It feels very silly to me whenever I watch it. Like when I play against it or when
Yeah,
I
you're
watch
watching
it.
the
Yeah,
zealot, the bar go across the gateway, and it's like,
yeah, yeah. It's like I just, you know, I'm gonna. Oh God, I have to try to find it now. But yeah, it reminds me of a certain GIF, which I'm trying to find right now.
Oh boy. Well,
I
to
hope I
fill
can
the
find it.
silence.
Yeah.
I think the other weird thing I was thinking about, it's like, I mean, if you don't have warp gate, 'cause one of Protoss's biggest issues is like positioning and how easy it can feel to like outposition a Protoss. Just because like death ball mechanic and stuff like that. Like even if you're swarming, you still need like your swarm to engage at least at the same spot. And the other thing I was thinking about, it's like, well, I mean, what would you want us to do if we can tell we're about to be dropped? Like, you don't want us to be able to recall everywhere. I mean, I guess stalkers still have blinks, so there is still that. But it's like, even if we like try to build cannons on the edges of our bases, like, well, we would need a pylon to make sure we have the ability to build there, and then cannons cost more than like turrets and spores do. So it kind of just also hurts it that way a tiny bit. And so it's just like it makes you want to basically, like you said, play more like how Terran does, which it's cool that there's that asymmetric balance and like gameplay between the races. And so the more similar they become, it's kind of just
Yeah.
yeah, we're all
like, I
Terran
feel
players
like
with different skins.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh. But let's go back to
It
Warcraft 2,
really
where they
does
were the
feel like
same
that.
race, just skins differently.
Yeah.
Because
I
like
mean,
there is definitely that.
that's been the same thing that I've been complaining about with like most of these changes. It's just like we're getting rid of racial identity and just like turning all the races into the same like Terran-y, like Terran branches, you know, like it
Mhm.
feels like all the races are becoming like versions of Terran. Very strange.
Which is not really ideal.
Like that's the biggest problem that I have with like the new patch with like changing the worker count and everything. Like it messes with like it's not just like my build order and things like that, it's like my macro cycle is fucked up. You know what I mean? Like like Zerg used to have this very nice rhythm to it, you know, which has already been kind of messed up by the creep nerfs like years ago. But yeah, I
That's
mean,
fair, yeah.
like
I
adding
mean, how
this
long have
to
we
it
been?
as well. It's like I don't have the money and I have like all these
Yeah.
weird larva spacings and it's just it doesn't line up nicely.
How long have we had the 8 workers now?
Maybe a
Was
few
it been
weeks.
Too
a
long.
month? Or, I mean, however long it is, like I still send that first SCV to go make the supply depot,
Oh my
and I'm like,
gosh, I
fucking
know.
Yeah.
hell.
I found the GIF, by the way. It's Jerome Powell with the money printer. This is what it feels like when I watch gateways, the fast gates. You know, it just feels like the unit printer. Just
But I mean, that's the funny thing about it. Like I said, it's like you're still capped by how much income. Like if I'm 3 base mining, 2,400 minerals a minute, it's like I can still
Sure.
only build per
You're
minute
not
based off
wrong.
those.
But let's
And it
think
makes
about
less
the
production,
let's think
but-
about the typical game, right? An average player, not the pros, super perfect players, but even the perfect players, you're
Why are we
floating
talking about
money,
that then?
right? Well, like I'm including more along the lines of us people that tend to float, a couple thousand minerals. We're not technically limited by our economy.
No, you're limited by your skill. What's your point?
Well, yeah, but if the stuff if we could spend our money faster, like we have the money. If it's if all of a sudden we're just capable of spending that faster because everything goes faster, like that's actually a behind the scenes buff or a handicap for us people that tend to have some macro slip ups, right?
I do get what you mean by that. Yeah,
Mm.
it definitely does do something. I guess when you talk about balance, a lot of people consider the pros because like that's where balance is most
Right.
relevant.
Yeah,
There's going
and
to
I
be a
mean,
smaller uncertainty there, like
realistically, like people's builds do start to tighten up around like halfway through like Diamond 1, and when you get up to Masters, like
sure,
the
yeah.
early game
Yeah.
for people is solid at least. After
That's
that,
true.
people still float thousands of minerals.
Yeah. My last
Sure,
game, I was
sure.
floating 3,000 minerals, and I was like, well, I won. That means I'm good, right?
Oh, well, if you
Yeah.
just spent all your money, you wouldn't have lost this game. It's like, yeah, if I had perfect micro and macro, I wouldn't have lost either. What's your point?
Or if I picked Protoss. I mean, there's plenty of things that could dictate whether or not you win or lose a game.
Plenty of opportunities for improvement.
I don't know why you keep making the same mistake over and over and over.
I know.
The option's right
you
there.
Terran, dude. What the heck? Stop doing that.
Okay, the next one I think is a pretty hand wavy change. I don't know if any of us are gonna have
Wait,
anything
no,
to say
I
about
want
this.
to keep talking about this. Hold on.
Like,
Yeah, the
please let
Wargate
us move on. No,
transformation.
one more thing.
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
beat the dead
So
horse
the
enough.
transformation
They-
time is not a big deal. I think we can ignore that.
Yeah, honestly.
What
yeah.
about the disruptor weapon attack thing? I mean,
Well, that was
the
a
change
bug
on this
that
is really not that big of a deal.
I mean, from what I know, it was supposed to be 7 range originally, and that was kind of just considered a bug.
Oh, really?
I don't.
I think so, because 11 is like the range its actual attack has.
Yeah, that would be
7's
kind of
like puts it
frustrating.
more of where the army is.
Yeah, if you could only get as close to the army as you're able to reach, I feel like that's actually really frustrating for the disruptor to try
Yeah.
to hit anything.
Well, that's true
Yeah.
too. Yeah, it makes it real tough. It makes it really easy to just pull away.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that
I
was
think that
sort
was
of
supposed to
people's
more
complaint. That's why they fixed it.
undo a bug. It's also, who would make a range 11.35? Like, excuse you.
Yeah, that is a very
Yeah.
random number.
11 plus 1/4 the average distance of the two bases that are closest to each other at the time.
Yeah, I
We're
don't know
taking
why.
the angle of the moon and the sun. No, so I feel like that was just undoing, fixing a bug more
Yeah.
than anything.
Yeah, this one's also a pretty hand wavy change. Alright, time to talk about the exciting change. Command center cost reduced to 300 minerals. Let's fucking go. Alright.
Can we just talk about the next
Whatever.
topic?
If anything, Nexus needs to be 300 minerals also. That's how I think we
yes.
actually fix this.
There we go.
Let's start with that right out of the gate. Yeah.
Yes.
It's not fair. What about us?
That'll
how it
fix
always
Gateway
works?
Man style, you know?
Yeah, that makes it so much more viable. Thank you for realizing this.
Yeah.
But just to make you feel better about us not making the Nexus 300, probes will now build 13% faster.
Oh, Chronos just
Yes.
always got it. Okay.
Brilliant. StarCraft is saved.
Terran point of view, the 300 mineral command center is a ridiculous buff. I agree.
Mhm.
It makes TVZ silly. No other way to put it. Like, I'm going CC first against Zerg now that go pool first, and I'm still okay. Like, what?
What? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, there was the thing. If the map was big enough, you would still finish the CC before Link showed up. But this is like, yeah, now even on smaller maps, the CC finishes in time. So who cares?
Right.
Yeah, it's
Or an item.
it's
What just happened? to my
it's
audio?
ridiculous. But I understand why they make the change. Like, without it, if you're trying to build like a Reaper and then expand or whatever, like we always did, you're waiting forever to make that natural. It is brutal, but I don't think this is the way to go. I think at some point, and this is a complaint I've had with Blizzard for decades, is that they're so unwilling to admit they're wrong at any given point. Like if they make a change, they
Yeah.
won't be like, "Oh, well, we fucked up. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna revert it." And like you literally have to have a game-breaking bug for them to be like, "Our bad. We're gonna fix it." You know, like they just keep going against the wall. You know, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, your head's broken open now.
Mm.
It
Fix it.
does kind of drive me crazy. Like it feels like God, like I don't know like a good metaphor for this. It feels like like a mechanic who's trying to fleece you, you know? You come in and you're like, "Man, my car it's got this weird light that's on my dashboard and I don't know what it means and it's got this like weird ass like grinding sound or whatever and like your car like needs oil, you know?"
Uh,
And they're like, "All right, all right. So I think that your car is totally fine on the oil. That's not the issue. Instead, we're gonna fix your tires."
uh,
And then like you come back in like 6 months later and you're like, "Man, that
yeah,
light is still on and the sound is getting
yeah,
worse. It's getting louder." And they're like,
uh,
"Okay, okay, we got you. So we checked your oil. It's definitely not the oil.
yeah. It
So
couldn't be the
next we're
oil.
gonna replace your windshield wipers." It's like,
Uh,
what
I
the
got
fuck?
Yeah, we got these great tires. Windshield wipers are amazing. But our car
Yeah,
just
yeah.
broke down on the highway. Well, we did everything we could. It's really just you complaining. That's really the problem
Right?
here. Uh,
I actually no, I can make this metaphor even better. They're really what they would do is because like fixing the tires and windshield wipers, like that is totally unrelated to your actual problem, right? So
uh,
instead, what they're gonna do is they're gonna give you engine stabilizer. You know,
yeah, yeah.
it's
And
like,
we're
hey,
also
the
we're gonna
sounds
fix.
went away. We fixed
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's
We're also gonna fix your neighbor's car because it's not fair for us to fix your car, even though we didn't fix it. But we're gonna fix your neighbor's car.
oh god. Yeah, I mean, it's just it really feels kind of frustrating because it's just like band-aid fix after band-aid fix when they just refuse to address like the core problem,
Yeah,
and a lot of
in
times
any
the
of
core
them either.
problem is
Like,
something that they did, and that's why they don't want
mhm,
to address it.
yep, it's arrogance, it's pride. I can, I mean, and it's hard not to have that, right? You made arguably the best real time strategy in the history of video gaming. You can say that with a straight face,
It's
and
pretty
then
hard to argue that,
yeah,
Mhm.
it's a pretty good game.
yep,
Even still,
Yep.
and then at the same time you're expected to be able to admit when you made a mistake when you're like, but we're God, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, like I mean, you can understand why like people would be really stubborn on whatever direction that they feel like the game needs to go in. And I do think that, in order for like design to have like a cohesive philosophy and kind of be consistent, you do sort of need somebody who's a little bit stubborn and has some ideas that
True.
maybe not everybody likes and they just stubbornly try to make that idea work until it works. But
Yeah,
you
because if you can't
also
respond to every knee jerk reaction.
yeah, but you also I feel like can't go like so far with it that you're just like totally unwilling to admit defeat on these things. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like,
Yep.
I mean, David Kim got rid of the fucking infinite locust storm host. Right? Like to use an example here, people were really not liking that and I wasn't around for
Yeah.
Heart of the Swarm, but my impression is that David Kim stubbornly liked the free units and wanted to make them work and tried every
Yeah.
way to make them work and everybody was like, "We don't like them." And then eventually
you
We
he
got a
backed
know,
down.
question. We
I
got a
will
question in the
say in
audience.
regards to the do
Oh,
we?
what were you saying, Sax?
They just got a question in the audience I didn't want to ignore.
Oh, oh. Are the
Uh,
Blizzard patches better or worse than the Balance Council patches? Ooh. Uh yeah, I talked about this before and I honestly don't remember exactly what I said. Cuz like I hated how I think okay, I will like how these patches I can at least understand that there is a vision. And although I highly disagree with a lot of the ways that they're trying to achieve the vision, I can see that they're like moving toward a goal and I understand what it is. But as when we had Balance Council, that was like the worst because I did not feel like they had a goal. I feel like their goal was to make pro players happy. Like whichever
Yeah,
pro
yeah.
players were like begging for changes, it was just trying to
uh,
please like those specific people. Not like
whichever will was making
the
the most noise.
community of pro players, but like this pro player wants this change, so we're gonna do that. This person
Uh,
wants that change, so we're gonna do that. And that was the fucking worst. Because it felt like it was just reading their like Christmas wish list every
uh,
fucking year, and I hated it.
whoever was the most spoiled brat.
Yeah,
Squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah.
exactly. What? What?
The Terran
I
players.
had something caught in my throat there. Sorry.
Oh man, that wasn't very beyond funny.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think Beyond got a whole lot for him. No, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, we were originally talking about the command center here.
Well, I think the opinion about the command center is pretty universal. We all think it's a bad idea. I don't think there's any contention here. Like,
I think even the Terrans realize this is stupid.
yeah, I'm like I said before, I'm going CC first against Zerg. What world is this where that's
What would
a build that's not
what
punishable?
what did you say? I think you made a comment about like, yeah, I dropped my fourth CC before the
Yeah, I
Zerg
had my
started that
fourth
fourth hatch.
command center. I built it on location, and like I'm not saying the Zerg player was any good. Maybe he was bad, but like just the fact that it's something that can be done. Like, I'm making my fourth command center before my Zerg opponents making their fourth hatch.
Just because it
That's
can happen doesn't mean it should.
yeah. Like we've gone from okay, as a Zerg player, you need to be a base ahead to uh what? You're a base behind, not just even.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Even
Yeah,
Protoss can't pull that one off on Zerg.
And this is the
I
funny thing that
honestly don't
you bring
see
up Protoss,
how like
and this
this
actually
could ever
this
be
wraps.
justified.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense, and it's the same. It's the same argument. We'll probably be making these same points 10 patches down the road. It's like the problem's Protoss. Let's fix Terran. What? Like no. Uh, I'm sitting here like I am so far ahead of my Zerg opponents. It's unfair. It doesn't make sense. Why are we doing this to TVZ? And at the same time, I am still behind Protoss economically. I watched that game
Crazy.
where Hero was playing against Clem. Clem went CC first against a gateway Nexus, and the Nexus was mining before he could land his CC. He had built it on the high ground, and I'm like, that's so he has to build it on location to beat a regular Protoss build. What if we fixed Protoss? Hmm?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because the more Ace has talked about it, I do think the idea that the Nexus starts with Chrono Boost energy might actually be the bigger concern.
Yeah. That was
'Cause
Miro's observation originally.
Mira was going to
Actually.
point that out.
Yeah.
Because it is interesting because it's like, especially when you have fewer workers, that just makes such a difference. Just because because it kicks in so much quicker. Like people are like, oh, you basically can chrono right at the start of the game, and chrono effectively gives you a free worker
Yeah,
time wise. So it's
yeah.
like,
That game, and it was so funny because it's on Winter stream, and I'm watching it, and Winter's complaining about how the command center is so cheap and how much faster you can have it. And I'm like, yes, but right now Protoss is mining on their natural, and they're ahead by 9 workers. I don't see where you're coming from on this one.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, yeah.
we're just
Like
not
as a
exactly my
Zerg, it's
favorite.
like the eco of Protoss is just fucking terrifying, and it has
Yeah.
been for like all of Legacy. And I
Hmm.
mean, it's like I'm honestly like I'm fine with Protoss being a little bit ahead in eco in the early game. Like different races are different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a stage in TVZ like early game where Zerg is up like 10 workers to the Terran. And it doesn't
Sure.
matter because like the count equalizes shortly after and the Terran
When
is
the
like
Hellions and
working
Banshees
on
come in
other
and kill 10
advantages.
workers.
Yeah, exactly. No. Even without that, like it does like equalize a lot more later on. You know, it's just like because of the burst nature of Zerg, they end up doing that. But like
Sure.
with ZVP, it's always been this thing where Protoss is just ahead, and then Zerg will, because they're like linearly ahead. You know, like their production just ramps up steadily of workers,
Yeah.
right? But they're just like their worker count just rises, right? And then Zerg is like jumpy. You know, we have like little bursts where we jump up in worker count. And
Mhm.
there's points where like we will match the Protoss or exceed them for like 2 or 3 workers, and then like 5 seconds later they're ahead of us again.
Yeah.
And that continues until the Zerg either, if they're doing the super fast third base and they instantly saturate the third, that's the first time that Zerg can be ahead. The other time that Zerg can be ahead is when they get a fast fourth and they saturate the fourth. Until then, Zerg is just behind in workers. And it's like, okay, different races are different. But then at the same time, Zerg has, or like Protoss has much better defense because of shield battery, being able to just hold position to zealot in the wall, make shit behind it, and you're totally fine, right? And then on top of that, you're also harassing with Oracle and Adept. And on
Yep.
top of that, there's risks of like serious all-ins like a proxy or a
Hmm.
cannon rush. Like
That
all
aren't
of
just
that
going to
coming from the
secure a
same
lead.
race in the early game. Like
Yeah.
what?
Like, and that's not just going to secure a lead for the Protoss. It's pretty much like this is going to be a winning move, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's
And they're
like
also gaining an
all,
economic advantage.
and they're like fucking impervious to anything that you would throw at them that isn't like the most all in ever. And
Uh huh.
even then, all they have to do is probe scout you and then they can counter it. And it's like,
So,
what? And then what does this all
so
lead to? A forced late game where Protoss is better than Zerg again. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand. It's like, how are we even entertaining the idea that the problem is Terran is too weak? It's fucking
Hmm.
Protoss.
Right.
Hello.
Please, somebody.
wait, are you saying that's a problem or?
Yeah. Brock's like, don't you dare take this away from me. I've never been this happy.
I see no issues with this.
I just want to clarify. I thought this was okay. Like, isn't Protoss supposed to be the best race? We still don't have a champion after all. I mean, isn't that the issue?
Right?
It's
Oh
like
man.
the magic you make Terran and Zerg come up with to beat Protoss makes them so good that they're the ones that make it up to the tournaments. You know,
Hmm.
it's like training with weights on the baseball bat. You know, every time you play a Protoss, you have a 40-pound weight on the end of your baseball bat. You know, and then you
That
go.
seems fair. Yeah, that seems fair.
You go into it. You go into your tournament games. They take the weight off, and you're just smacking homers the entire time.
But see, Sax, the thing I think you're forgetting is your handicap of an extra 40 pounds on your bat only balances out the mental handicap that all of us Protoss players have. So what's the issue?
Yeah, the DEI race.
Oh man. All right.
I've wondered that at times. I'm like, are they contractually obligated by some fair gaming act somewhere that like if they got rid of the Protoss race, there'd be an entire community of people that were physically limited from being able to play the game. It's the
Kind of,
80,
yeah,
God.
actually.
the 88
It's an
race.
accessibility concern. Oh
Yeah, I
god.
know Trump tried to say he got rid of this stuff. It's still there.
It's still
Thank
there.
goodness for Protoss players. Oh, we'd have real
Oh
problems
shit.
if that was the case.
I'm not supposed to be this happy about the game. What's going on? Why am I smiling?
Well, you gotta laughter's the best medicine,
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
It's the
coping
only way
mechanism,
I haven't jumped off a cliff yet.
So do I want to make a joke about, well, it's okay, we're going to get another patch in like 2 weeks anyways. So
Yeah,
Oh
where the
god.
cannon's gonna be cheaper.
get cannons. There we go. That's
Oh
what that would.
shit.
Give the forge a warp in ability where it can warp in cannons.
Yeah, yeah.
Legacy almost had cannons could teleport or like
Oh
move.
man,
Oh, phase
That was
cannons, yeah.
That was a beta for Legacy of the Void.
I heard about that. I heard
Yeah,
horrifying
it didn't
stories.
stay very long. It did not stay very long. Let's put it that way. Very exploitable.
All right, so there's one thing that I do kind of want to talk a little bit about, which is
Okay.
like the reasoning for doing the command center change. Like in the patch, it says like right at the top of this, making changes based on player data and feedback, calibrating both Protoss and Terran to help deal with Zerg. So Zerg is
Oh.
busted. That's why Terran supposedly needs
Mm,
help. This I have a serious problem with. Like, I don't think we have any data that indicates that. Like,
I have no experience that
unless you're
indicates
looking at
that.
like anecdotal tournament games, which
I mean, Ace, you have talked about how strong Zerg has felt with the initial buffs
yes,
and stuff. Is it referring to that? I mean,
but here's the thing. It didn't feel like it felt like it could have been too strong. But it also still felt like it was like too early to tell. And the reason why I
mm,
was fine with it was because like Zerg has been nerfed like a lot over like many years. And
yes,
I'm a lot of people are gonna hate
Like
me
they
saying
should
this,
be.
but yeah, like they should be. No, a lot of
base
people are gonna
sterile.
hate me saying this, but so like gosh, what was this, like 2020 when we first had the like turtle stalemate meta where we started mining out the map and it was like fast 3 CC every game, straight to 5 bases. We don't
Beautiful
even
meta.
bother with the 8 racks push anymore. We're just going late game.
Beautiful.
You
Mm,
know, like that shit.
yes, sir. Uh
And the
huh.
community was like so bored, right? And I mean, if we're looking at
Get
the
them their
meta right now,
Adderall.
it's like we haven't really fixed that entirely. Like it's not
Mm.
as bad as it was before, but like I would still say the majority of our games are like over 20 or 30 minutes, which is crazy to me. So, like I'm of the opinion that the main reason that this happens in the Zerg matchups, because I feel like it doesn't happen as much in PvT, but in the Zerg matchups, I feel like this is just because Zerg doesn't have early game aggressive options anymore. And it's just way easier to play a macro game than it is to be like going for a super aggressive, well timed push that has like a complex transition into a later game composition and all this stuff. And like that style is a lot harder to pull off. Like playing 3cc 111 Hellion Banshee and going straight up to like late game or to an 8 or 10 racks, like that is just a way easier style to play than going for like a 2-1-1 into a third and then getting your double eBay and transitioning from there. Like that's a much harder style to play, right? So I think that, people are just preferring the easier style, which is the macro style, right? And because Zerg can't do anything to punish it, you just do it every game, right?
Yeah, I would disagree just a little bit with the
Sure.
vague terminology, I guess, of easier or harder blanket statement to whether or not a macro build or a specific build is easier or harder. Um, and this is what gets me about people that complain about mech. People like to, and I'm not saying you in general or you specifically. I'm just saying like one of the experiences I've had is that people like to think of mech players as playing a style that is easier because it's slower, and the
Mm.
the challenge really is quite different. It's not that it's easier.
Mhm.
It's the things that are more difficult are different. It's a different type of strategy. You have to understand the game on a different level. It's not
Right, right,
easier.
right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's slower. You know.
But it's the I think it's like really what you're getting at is like often in StarCraft we use easier as like a synonym for like less mechanically demanding, which is really
Right.
what we
Like
I
mean.
would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the 12-year-old with the sniper going around no scoping everybody. I'm the team of like 6 40-year-old people that are trying to find positional, advantages on the map to actually win
Yeah,
this
yeah,
this
yeah.
this engagement. Yeah.
Anyway, my point that I was getting at here is really just that like because of the way that Zerg has been nerfed in aggressive styles, like it's allowed Protoss and Terran to play very
Yeah.
reliable macro without having to worry
Yeah.
about anything. And it's
Hmm.
like it's like
I
I said,
agree.
like an easier, less mechanically demanding style to play. So, and to be clear, I think it also has a slightly lower win rate, but
Hmm.
because it's easier to play, people are going to prefer it. Is kind of how I feel.
Sure.
So to get back to how we got here, the reason why I was kind of fine with Terran being forced to do damage versus Zerg is because that's how it used to always be, and I think that's totally fine, and I think that's how the races should be. I think that there should
Hmm.
be very strong power spikes at different stages of the game, and
Yeah,
I
I
think
think that's
that
what motivates that interaction, right? Like
yeah,
if we wanted to dwell
exactly,
on that point a little bit longer, like the requirement for the Terran player, let's just say Terran, because I'm a Terran player, the traditional requirement that you had to put yourself out there on the map and keep the Zerg from getting crazy on you, forced
yeah,
interaction between the two players. And if you take that away and you say you don't have to do that anymore, then you can put the two players on two different maps, let them build up to whatever they want to build up, and then you just glue the maps together and you say, okay,
yeah,
now you two can fight. You know?
yeah. It literally feels like we're watching like No Rush 20. It's
Hmm.
kind of crazy.
Ah, the good old days. Fastest map possible.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of why like I'm fine with that. The other reason why like I'm not really that concerned about Zerg being strong versus Terran is what the stats are showing me. And it's like we don't have a lot of stats right now. We literally have one data point. So
Hmm.
it's not the most to look at. And this
But
is
it makes sense to
also
match.
the graph that I don't like. Uh, Sorry, just I'll just briefly explain what these are. So like this top graph is just literal raw win rate. So these are like all the pro games, right? This bottom graph is performance difference. So this is like measuring the difference between expected performance versus your opponent versus actual performance. So when a pro player who's not that highly rated beats a pro player who is much higher rated than them, the difference between their ratings is what is getting added to this. And then you accumulate that for all of the players for each race, right? And then you get a score for the race overall. It would be super cool if this was per matchup, but it's unfortunately not. So yeah, it's a little bit hard to see exactly what's going on here. But yeah, the graph here is showing pretty plainly that Zerg is insanely strong, like historic levels of strong, right? Because pretty significant buff overnight, right?
Hmm.
But the other thing about this graph that you have to keep in mind is players' ratings adjust over time, and this is relative, and you can see the slumping from Zerg over several years of nerfs, right?
Hmm.
So it's like this could just be, making up for what's back here, right?
Also, this
Hard.
goes back to my baseball analogy. If you got a collective of Zerg players who are constantly sweating their asses off to try to keep up, and then you give them a little bit of a cookie, they got that mechanical training for so long, that you could give them a little bit, and maybe it wasn't that much of a buff, but they're
Yeah.
they're going to extract way more out of it because they have the talent that's been driven. Those that have stayed around through all that and haven't just quit, they're going to have refined their skills at a higher
Yeah.
level. So the littlest things will be utilized to greater potential than somebody who's just been derping around cannon rushing all the time. Brock.
Yeah, that's definitely me. I'm the worst Protoss. Although
People
Sax, the
watching don't
real
know.
issue,
Brock like never cannon rushes.
I quite count both my hands the amount of games I can rush to my
I
StarCraft.
think I've cannon rushed more than you have.
I would believe that. Sax, the issue with your whole thing you just said, why is Zerg gain a cookie and not Protoss? I think
Yes.
that's the issue.
We've been starving them for
Gee,
years.
I don't know. I don't know. This is the 50% line. I don't know.
I want my damn cookie, all right?
It's a mystery. I don't know.
Yeah, look at that. Clearly, Protoss needs some cookies, okay?
Yeah,
Like,
look at all those
obviously we're
dips.
struggling. What I was saying about the DEI initiative with Protoss, like, come on, dude.
To starve them, that's it's abuse.
It basically is. I used to be able to win on the ladder, now I'm losing to Zergs. Clearly,
Oh
there's
man,
an issue.
it's embarrassing.
Unreasonable.
It is.
It can't happen.
Thank
was
you.
the-
See, I'm glad you agree.
So the other thing I wanted to point out about this, so if we're buffing the command center because Terrans need help versus Zerg, then I would expect, if Zerg is like this off the charts busted in June 2026, then I would expect the June 2026 TVZ rating to also be busted, right?
Mm.
And then I look at it, 47.58%. That seems pretty balanced. I
It's
don't know.
fairly close to. Now, is that what does that 47% mean? Is that Zerg's winning 47% of the time or losing 47% of the time?
Yeah, so it's Terran first. So Terran would be winning, what is that, like 52 point whatever.
Yeah, that's still
4-2.
by the numbers, Terran favored.
No. No, sorry. I had that backwards. No.
Okay.
Sorry. This is not Terran favored. This
Okay.
is slightly Zerg favored.
Still Zerg
But on the
favored
previous
by
patch,
3%.
yeah. But like on the previous patch, it was TVZ was 54.49%. So 4.49% in favor of Terran. Right?
Which I guess you could make the argument that that is a pretty big swing by 7%
Yeah.
from going from +4 to -3.
But the problem
But-
is it's closer to 50 than it
Yeah,
was
it's
on the
actually
last one.
yeah, that's yeah. Like, yes, we made a big change, but it brought it closer to balanced.
Yeah.
We had to make this big change to get it closer to balanced. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
we're buffing the command center now because Zerg is oh so broken versus Terran.
Yeah.
But the data is showing that we're closer to balanced than we were on the previous patch.
Yeah.
Aw.
Winter did make one funny point. This is kind of random, but he was like, "How long did we go with the medivac that could carry widow mines that could fire out of the medivac?" And then we figure out that the Overlord can carry a Hydra and it shoots out of the Overlord, and it's the next day we fix it. Huh?
Wait, what?
was that?
He
Did
said,
that
like,
happen?
Yeah, like he's like the day after they figured out they could shoot with Hydras out of the Overlord.
I missed
they
this.
fixed it.
What?
Yeah, what was that thing?
I don't know.
Hydra
Apparently it was like
shooting out
last
of Overlords?
yeah, like last minute, I guess. But
That's
they
crazy.
were probably already planning to fix it. It's just the fact that it happened so soon after Zerg got something, but Terran was able to play with it for however long.
Yeah, I mean, the Widow Mine and I mean all those transport bugs, like they were terrifying to me just because I was worried about like, are they gonna stay in the game? But like that all got fixed. That's something that maybe I should mention because that was like mentioned right here. But yeah, fixing that, good idea. Leaving that in the
Yeah,
game for like a
yeah,
year would have been a disaster.
yeah. That would be like, yeah, this is a joke. This
Yeah.
it's a meme game at this point. Let's put it on the phone at this point. You know. Oh, sorry, Diablo Immortal.
uh, all right. So I mean, there's technically two more changes that we could talk about here, which is planetary, getting the cost increased, which totally makes perfect sense. The
Yeah,
orbital
devastating.
would
I
have
make so
not
many of
been
those
the
in a game.
equivalent.
You know,
Yeah.
my two planetaries I make in a game. That's really gonna really devastate my economy.
Yep. And keep in mind, you're a mech player.
I am. I still prefer orbitals, especially
Oops.
in TVT. I'm like, you know what? The planetary dies so fast, anyways. Like, okay, it
Yeah.
keeps me safe from little run bys, but I can also just leave a few units there.
Yeah.
And like, I'd rather have the orbital. I
I
can
think it's
lift it.
good versus Zerg because Zerg has a lot of melee units. But
Yeah.
That's fair.
yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah. There's so
planetary
many
is not
fights with the
that great.
Zergs trying to fight into a planetary, and they're like, well, because you fought next to that planetary, you lose 6,000 resources.
Yeah. I remember showing you games like that when I was progressing up the ladder, and I was like, why did I lose this? I was like so far ahead. And then you like looked at the replay and you're like, you're not fighting the planetary, but you're like fighting near the planetary.
Yeah.
The planetary is in the fight.
Yeah.
And it's a 1,500 hit point thing that's shooting at you. It kind of hurts.
And it's
Yeah,
got splash.
that too. It does solid damage, just shoots kind of slow.
That blew my mind when I found that out. I was like, what? The planetary does splash damage?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it smashes Zerglings so much.
How'd you not switch to Zerg already? To Terran already? You know.
I know. Terran is actually super fun.
Yeah. It's why I don't play Protoss. Like every time I play Protoss, I don't mean it like a dig at the race, but I'm actually bored, and I'd rather
Yeah.
play Terran.
I liked Protoss more when they were glued together by gimmicks. I liked that.
Gimmick.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what everybody would like call it at the time. Everybody was like, "Oh, Protoss is so weak. They're glued together by gimmicks. You have to use all these stupid spells and abilities." That's when I think
Uh,
Protoss was the most fun. You know?
sure. Yeah, because just it's requiring your brain to think about so many different solutions.
Yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean, just look at like Immortal Barrier, for example. Like, is
Mhm.
it a better unit with it being autocast? Yeah, probably. Is it more fun to activate the barrier before a fight and be like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, I'm super strong now,
Yeah.
fight me, bro? That's
Yeah,
way
you
more
turn on the
fun.
"Gonna Fly Now" theme song, and you're like, "Here we go, let's go."
Yeah, like, it's just. Ah. I don't get why people don't understand that kind of stuff. Yeah, Storm feels so incredible. Or at least it did. Now it's
Mhm.
kind of.
That was kind of weird.
I don't know.
Yeah,
In
I
its current
like the
state, I don't really like it.
yeah, I agree with the direction they went with it. I don't know what the perfect spot for it to land in would be, but I do feel like it shouldn't be an ability you just drop on an army and kill it instantly. It should deny a zone, you know, and um,
Hmm.
I just don't know how you get there. I hate Storm that just instantly kills my bio. I'm like, how do you fight
Like that
against that if
storm.
you don't?
that,
Yeah,
was, that was the storm I liked.
yeah. It's just how come I have to be so perfect with my EMPs in advance, you know, and like,
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Well,
know.
Bio
or if,
is all considered the glass cannon army,
Yeah,
so I think that kind of just inherently is going to happen.
yeah. That's the price you pay for being so strong for the rest of the game. That you're vulnerable to
fair.
splash. You know?
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's like the whole Protoss kit is literally so strong. Why do they need a storm that just deletes everything you have right away? You know?
Sure, I can definitely see that. That's definitely something that I've always had a complaint about, which is like the other races like ground spellcaster like don't even like they all pale in comparison to the High Templar with Storm
Mhm.
alone. and then you also have feedback, and you can make archons from them. It's like, whoa, what a unit.
Or you could just mass charge lots. Your charge lots will fight just fine against bio. You don't have to delete the bio instantly. You could just fight with the charge lots. You're gonna be fine. But no, you have to one-sidedly win the fight without losing a single thing. Okay.
Yep. These are things that we
Don't
complain
know
about
if
Protoss.
I really agree with that, but maybe it's because I am Protoss.
Yeah. Just play a couple games on unranked ladder so nobody know you did it. And
Oh my
then
gosh.
just make charge lots and see how high up you can go. I guarantee you with your macro, your talent at the game, you probably
surprised.
be well into masters.
I'm not gonna
I mean,
lie.
you'd say the same thing with like Zerglings, though. Or like Marines.
Maybe. I was about to say true, and then I'm like imagining what's gonna happen when you like run face first into a wall, and I'm like,
I've done it.
actually.
I've
why
tried to
wouldn't
play
Zealots
nothing
have
but
that problem?
Zerglings. They don't die, and they do a ridiculous amount of damage. Like,
Yeah,
what's the drawback? They don't cost gas. Is that a bad thing? Like,
like
I don't know.
I'll put it this way, like when I off race as Terran, I'm like having to try, like it's fucking hard, and then I'll off race as Protoss, and I'm like, I'm scouting nothing. I'm just hold positioning one zealot in the wall. I'm going straight up to 8-gate charge. And then like I remember this one game vividly. It was on fuck, I can't remember the name of this map. It was the last map pool though. And it was the funniest shit. The Zerg scouts me. He knows exactly what I'm doing. Like he scouts it perfectly. He knows exactly. It's 8-gate charge. I have no gas. He knows exactly what I'm doing. He gets a roach warren. He gets roaches. He's ready. He's got extra queens. He's fucking ready, right? So I show up and then I see all of his queens and all his stuff and I'm like, "Oh, okay, you're ready." I'll just back up a little bit and then I siege the prism on top of the tower at his natural and just warp in around the tower. And he couldn't shoot it. It's so fucking funny. And
That's
yeah,
brutal.
he just rolled over and died despite being super fucking ready. It's hard to defend the unit. You know, like even without the +8 damage, it just is.
And there's zero conversation really about changing it. Like, there's no squeaks of anything about the charge slot getting fixed. And I'm like, nobody sees this. Nobody sees how ridiculous this unit is.
I've fought against people going like pure charge lot against me, and I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. I'll just like make banelings and deal with it. And then I'm like, I'm out of gas, and there's more zealots coming. And what the fuck? And I realized like I'm not trading cost efficiently. Like it's bad. I don't know. I mean, it's not like the unit is fucking off the charts busted or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's just
it's the whole picture. It's not just the fact, or like it's hit points or it's damage. It's the complete picture of the game, like the economy, how fast it builds, especially now, like everything,
God.
so forth and so on.
Yeah. And it's just like a lot of resources to like condense in like a really strong melee unit that like do they have 1 or 2 armor by default? I think they have base 2 armor, or is it 1?
It's 1.
It's 1.
It's
okay.
1.
Either way, like it has a base armor. What? Why?
Like if I remember right, like its stats, like it's basically a roach, like for pure mineral, and it's just not a range attack.
Anyway, it does
we're talking a lot about the zealot, which hasn't been changed at all. Anyway, yeah, I mean, last thing really on the list here is the ghost supply. Yeah, I can't believe we're doing this again.
Yeah, if you toggle it back and forth to the same exact stats again and again and again, eventually it'll be right.
Eventually, yeah, yeah.
Magically.
It feels like fuck, what's this called? It's like genetic algorithm testing, where like you create like a bunch of like a bunch of samples where like in this case you'd have like a bunch of different patches where you have like different stats on the ghost, right? And, and then you take the most successful ones and you combine them and have them like share half of their stats with each other like they're having a child and sharing genes, right? And then you take that and you make a new generation with all of those and you say, okay, this is a new population, take the most successful ones of those. It's like we just change random shit and then we're like, all right, we kind of liked this, let's combine this with half of the stuff from the previous patch. Like, very strange.
Yeah, it's you bounce into enough random walls, you get it right eventually.
You
Yeah.
put 100 monkeys with a typewriter in infinite time, and eventually one of them will write Hamlet.
They'll eventually write a perfect StarCraft game.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, to talk a little bit more seriously about this, like I think the ghost supply change is a terrible idea because mass ghost is stupid, and one of the main reasons why we had these like incredibly long turtle stalemate games. And yeah, those were never good for the game. I feel like
Yeah, I can't disagree at all. Like I want to because I love Terran, but you're gonna lose your customer base basically if you keep with these changes.
the games just aren't
Hmm.
fun.
Do ghosts still have the flat 20 damage? Did that go through?
I want to say yes. Let's find out.
Because one of the funny things about the ghost to me was always um how it was a spellcaster. It was tanky enough, and it had like solid, like just straight up fighting damage. And it's like it was, and I mean, yeah, it was an expensive unit. Like I think it's like what 150, 125. Um,
It does 15 damage flat. There's
oh,
no
it's 15
more
flat.
bonus
Okay,
versus light anymore. So now it's 15.
so I guess it doesn't two shot lings anymore. But it was just always interesting how like in a way a ghost was one of the strongest units and like in a most well rounded type of way because of that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why? I mean, having the light type definitely nerfed the unit like quite a bit for sure. But it's also like, why was it always two supply?
Yeah. Yeah.
Never understood that. Like three supply just made so much more sense. Oh, and its range got buffed by one. I forgot about that one.
Yep.
Uh,
So my
oh,
question is, why doesn't it do splash?
oh my gosh. Well, it has its EMP, so against Protoss it does
Yeah,
splash.
yeah. Yeah, you got the
Okay,
Protoss
fair.
EMP. Yeah.
Um, especially, although I will say that no longer steady targeting being cancelable is crazy, even with it costing 75% 25 energy.
Yeah, this change is
Um,
insane.
yeah.
Yeah. Makes Broodlords impossible to use versus Terran. Yep. I would
Yeah,
agree.
it's kind of brutal. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Like this would be good versus like the old Broodlord that had like 13 range when you microed it.
Yeah,
This would
the brood
this
lord.
would be good versus that. You
Oh
know,
no,
like
the
that's how
my bad.
crazy
Yeah,
this ghost is. This would be good
you
versus
said.
fucking 8 armor ultra. Like,
Well, it is good versus 8 armor ultra.
yeah. I mean,
It's good
unfortunately,
against
we
6 armor
don't have
ultra.
that.
No, that's been
Yeah,
gone for a while.
I know. And don't remind me. Oh
Hey,
god,
Ace,
I was gonna
you ever
say
had
something that was gonna piss a lot of Terrans off, and I can't remember what it was.
It's like a blessing in disguise. I was about to completely about to get my Twitch account banned, but
Jokes, I forgot. Okay.
uh, yeah, I can't remember what it is. Oh wait, nope, I remember. All right, here we go. Okay, so I feel like there is a population of Terran fans who watched Maru use the remind me, it was the Shredder missile is what it was called, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, before they made
Wait,
it anti-armor missile when it like
yeah, the
still did
Strider missile.
damage.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like it wasn't seeker missile, it was like they made it super fast. So
Mhm.
like the seeker missile had like a really long delay on it so that you could get out of range of it. And if you like broke the range, it wouldn't hit you, right?
It would just
And
wouldn't go
then
point. It would just fizzle and be
yeah,
wasted.
it would just fizzle out and do nothing. And then they changed it around like 2018 or something. And then it was like you could not avoid it. And if I remember right, it reduced armor and it did damage. And
I
Tactical
think it
Fluke is saying in
started.
chat it did 20 damage and then they nerfed it to 15, which I
I thought it
do
was like
kind of
30 to
remember.
15. But yeah, but they're like, oh, we'll reduce the damage. And Terran was like, it still does damage. And like,
Yeah, it
okay,
still
fine,
does
we'll remove
damage.
damage.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's what happened. It was like absurdly fucking broken. And we had these like insanely long turtle stalemate games for the first time in Legacy of the Void. That was the first time we had those games. And it was
Mhm.
like insanely fucking long games, and they were like really hard to watch because you would be watching this Zerg who like is just doing everything right, is ahead, and can't do anything, and they're just
Hey,
slowly dying anyway.
I enjoy my midday naps. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Snaps liked having 30 plus Ravens. I think that was his favorite time.
I mean, it was funny, but yeah, I mean, and I'm remembering there were some games, I think they were like versus Dark or Solar in GSL, I want to say, that that Maru was doing, and those are the ones that I think everybody remembers the most. And when this first happened, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is super cool." And then I think a lot of people who understood the game a little bit better, just being honest, kind of saw that and were like, this is a problem." And yeah,
Mhm.
it was a problem, and we had to get rid of it. And eventually, the damage was removed entirely, and it became anti-armor missile. So now it
No,
only reduces armor.
it was really entertaining watching them span like 30 of this spell to kill a Thor. I remember in some program that happens, and it was very entertaining because it took, well, it was 15 damage. That would have taken like, oh
It
my
was a
gosh, like
lot.
12. No. Yeah, it was 20 something of them to like kill a 400 hit point Thor. And it's like, there's no way this was worth it, but that just happened. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so I feel like, and I know a lot of Terrans are probably going to hate me for saying this, but I feel like there's a lot of Terrans who are maybe fans of Maru and liked that period with the Shredder missile and didn't see anything wrong with that and see it as somehow injustice that it was taken away from them. And I'm not imagining this because I've met some of you on Reddit before, so I know you're out there. And
Here's what
I gotta be
rock,
honest, you people are
rough.
fucking insane. But yeah, like I think that population is kind of ruining the game in some ways with their discourse because they're the people who are asking for Terrans to have the kind of buffs that allow them to play this turtle stalematey style because they think that Terran needs this for the game to be fair. And I just want to be clear, that is not a fair state of Terran. For
Mhm.
Terran to be in this like impervious late game bubble that you just can't fucking penetrate and they slowly grind you down over time. Like that's insane. Like that is one of the main reasons why we have these turtle stalemate games that last way too goddamn long. And it's
See,
bad for the game.
yeah, in general, I agree with you 100%. Like, it's not good for the audience. Like, nobody wants to watch that. Um, It's very slow, and it's very frustrating for the opponent. Um, I um, I wish there was a way to get into longer games that it didn't feel like it was stalemate or stagnant. Like it was interesting the entire time. Because let's say I want to play StarCraft for 2 hours. What if that was just one game, but it was 2 hours of fun? Like, if that was the case, I would like that. I'm not going to blindly say I don't want a game to go for 2 hours. I would like it to be 2 hours of fun. You know, if that was
Yeah.
possible, let's do it. But I agree. As far as it has occurred, those long games don't tend to be fun. And um, I would I would it's just sad that it's ultimately you're right, like when push comes to shove, how it operates, like that is true. um, so
Yeah. I mean, it's just
it's unfortunate.
it's like it's kind of similar to it's like Terran has like a lot of like early and mid game power. So it's like if they also have the option to just not use that, but decide to be defensive and then go straight to a late game, and then it's like super turtly stalemate exhaust, it's like that is the worst possible state of the game. Like the game is
Yeah,
more exciting when people are fighting. If we want the games to be more interesting, we should be encouraging Terran to push in the early and mid game. And same thing
yeah,
with Protoss, if you ask me. Like I think,
mhm,
at least versus Zerg, PvT
yeah.
is a different can of worms. But
I wonder if they could find a way to ensure that engagements occur early game, early mid game, late game, and the game just doesn't end, but like there's a constant back and forth for longer
yeah,
periods of times that actually is interesting to see develop. Like if an engagement early in the game kind of dictated where the game goes from there, and the other player has to find a way to get back into the game, but still has the ability to, you know?
yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty hard, honestly. Like just
Yeah, it
because of
Might
might
how
be
be some way
impossible.
to
small the
force
game
that
is.
now. Yeah.
Mhm.
This is kind of why like I've always been of the opinion that like just because of the nature of RTS and like snowbally economies, like we should just be okay with the default game length being like 10 minutes, you know? Like I think
Mhm.
that these super long games like they should happen, but only when you have two very evenly matched opponents,
True.
you know?
Yeah.
Cuz like
Like
when,
some of the best.
when like earlier gosh, like this would probably be like 2017, 2018, or something like that, um like I've definitely had, there's been people who have been evenly matched against, and we used to mine out the map, but we were fighting each other the entire time,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
wasn't like a bunch of ghosts like sniping from a distance
Yeah.
and just
Uh-huh.
like killing a bunch of shit, and then like a
Yeah.
bunch of Zerg like running into widow mines and like dying and getting sniped and then running away. Like
Yeah. I I completely agree with you, Ace. The only part I disagree is I would hate to put a specific frame on what a game should be. Um,
sure, yeah.
because it'd be my opinion that the best games in history, the games we look back on and say these are the games that defined StarCraft, that were pivotal in identifying what StarCraft meant to the world, are the games that went longer. If
Mm.
you can point back to specific games in your mind, these are the games that were longer. Look at Bomber versus Scarlet when Bomber had those that bio ball and was chasing down Scarlet. Scarlet had the two burrowed banelings, and
Oh, that was beautiful.
one of
Yeah,
the most
yeah. But
amazing
yeah,
moments.
yeah, I gotta shout out Tactical Fluke is saying, but that's only when the long games are rare, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like they only
that
stand out to you because they were rare at the time. Now we
that's a
get
fair
long games every fucking game, and they all blur together, and they're all boring.
that's a fair
Like,
point. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um, I that so like my point would be like I don't want to say, every game needs to be 50 minutes. Every game needs to be 10 minutes. I just would like to have the option for both to exist, you know? Like if I wouldn't want every game to be a 3 rack sweeper.
Oof. Yeah,
We don't need the
I
beyond days
remember a
back.
certain finals. Yeah, that was not fun to watch. But also, it was amazing. Well, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else that we really want to add here? We kind of yapped for a decent amount of time here. I think we pretty much covered most of the stuff that we want to cover here.
Yeah, I think we made it to all the bases.
Yep, yep.
We fixed StarCraft. We're
Yeah.
it's all better
Yep,
now.
StarCraft fixed. Problem solved. All right, our
Yep.
work's done. You know,
Protoss needs to be easier to play.
I don't know why I have to plug in a mouse and a keyboard to play Protoss.
Let's have a webcam, and I just use my eyes to tell units where to go.
You know, you just reminded me. I wish I had done this like on the show, but in the Discord, like after Zerg got the larva buff, I was like, all right, thanks guys for helping out with the show, but now balance has been restored. We can close up shop. No need to talk about it anymore. It was a good run. But just joking,
Oh, gosh.
obviously.
Obviously.
All right, well,
All right.
I hope you all enjoyed the show. Thank you, Sax and Brock, for joining me once again. Good having you on,
Absolutely.
as always.
It
You're
was much honor to be hosted on your show. I appreciate it.
Of course. It was a blast.
Yay.
All right.
Yay!
See y'all next time.
Yep. We will see you all next time. And if there's anything that you feel like we need to talk about in the future or somebody who we should have on the show, let us know in the comments. We'll catch you all next time.